Hi guys, welcome back to our channel about the emojis. And as you guys can see, we are getting ready for Thanksgiving and creating some great side dishes to take to our family's house and enjoy. So today on the menu is some stew, some okra stew today, and a couple other things. Stay tuned to see what we're cooking and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So my husband is starting by taking his okra and he is chopping it into small pieces. This will be the base for our okra stew. And from there, he's going to take those pieces of okra and also add a few onions, and he's going to begin to boil those things together. You know, it gives that flavor when you add onion to everything. African Ghanaian food is all about onions. So he's just rough chopping those and adding those to the pot. And he's going to start boiling those and give it some flavor with a little bit of habanero and some water. Then from there, he's taking a few of the okra that are left over and he's going to actually blend those together. So when you blend the okra like this, it gives more of that slime factor. So that is the main thing when you're looking for when you're making okra stew or okra soup. You want that slime, the pull when you pull it out of the soup and you're eating it. All right, so the meat of choice or protein of choice today for the okra soup is some crab. So this guy decided to buy some live blue crab. I was like, oh wow, this guy's going all out for Thanksgiving. So we have some blue crab that he basically went ahead and did them so that they can sit still in the pot, and he's going to steam them with a little bit of water really quickly to cook them, and then all of it will be added to the pot with the okra and onion. Tell me, do you guys like crab? I do. All right, from there, the next protein that he's adding is actually goat meat and wele. So all of my Ghanaian friends and African friends know what wele is, but if you don't know, wele is the skin of the cow. So he's cutting that, and he's also going to add in the goat meat and kind of cut it a little bit. And now our crab is ready. It has turned bright pink. So he's going to take it out of that water and set it aside. Now, for our soup, you want to make sure that you have a few vegetables. Balanced diet. So we're adding tomatoes and then going back and just seasoning that meat up just a little bit with our favorite seasoning. So from our older videos, you can see some of the things that we like to use. Right here, we're going in with that palm oil, our palm oil that my sister-in-law brought us from Ghana. So it's authentic palm oil. So that's what we're having with that. And just taking it and kind of beginning to heat it up and to prepare it for the soup. And now he's adding a little bit of that fermented dried fish, the momone, just to give it that umami flavor. And boy, does it smell. But I got used to the smell. We have something else coming up in the video that is going to smell worse than this. So if you know, it will be fine. So he's just going to kind of break that down and then add in his onions and his tomatoes to kind of further cook down in that palm oil. Doesn't it look delicious? Very nice. All right. Now to give it a little bit more of that tomato flavor and to thicken it a little bit, we're going in with some tomato paste or tinned tomato, as some people may say in Ghana, and adding that to the palm oil concoction with the tomatoes and onions and that momone in there. and adding salt to taste. You add salt according to what you like. So we're adding that to the pot, and a little bit more of the onga seasoning and the badia complete season. Now our meat has steamed enough, and we're adding our meat to the pot along with all the juice that it was steamed in. We're not going to miss any flavor here. We got to have it all, you guys. This soup will be superb. Superb. So now that it's cooking, you see that the meat looking nice is infused with the palm oil. We're going in with that crab and adding it so that all the flavor will get soaked into that also. We're not missing any step with flavor. It will be so nice. I wish you guys could reach through the TV and taste it. You will love it. Alright, now we're adding in that okra, onion, and habanero that we boiled down for our soup. And you will enjoy it. And also the blended okra, just for that slime factor. And you see how slimy it is. So we're adding that now so that it can all cook together so that the flavors can combine and be one soup. You see those pools of the slime as it cooks, and just a little bit more of the palm oil. Can't go wrong with palm oil when you're making this. It is so nice, it's tasty. Hey, see meat, oh, see meat. The meat is in the stew. The stew is stewing, and the slime pool is showing. So it's very nice. So after this, after everything is combined, you just want to make sure you cook it down slow and low so that all the flavors are infused and you can taste everything. It would be so nice. Funny thing is, we made some of this for my aunt for Thanksgiving, and she enjoyed it. She called me and said, "Oh, it's so nice." She said that, "Hey, Hannah, will have to bring me more soup every 2 months." It was so nice. And so this time we had it with elbow. Moving on to the next side dish that we will prepare. It is Hashbrown casserole. Let me know if you guys have ever tasted this. It's very nice. So I'm going in first by chopping up some garlic and a little bit onions for our Hashbrown casserole. And I've already pre-shredded my cheese. So you can do cheese of choice, but I decided to do some sharp cheddar. This one's by Cabot, some pepper jack, and then I also bought some cheese that was already shredded, and you will see that in a few, and it was mozzarella and one other kind. So for our Hashbrown casserole, you kind of make a roux first. So I'm going in with 1 stick of butter and letting that melt down so that it can create such a rich stew or cheese sauce for our Hashbrown casserole. Now, after the butter has melted, I'm going in with a little bit of onions. So if you ever gone to Cracker Barrel restaurant here in America, you know this is one side dish that they serve, and they add onions to it. I decided to add onions, even though I don't like onions as much, but it cuts down on the sharpness of the cheddar. Because the cheese will be so rich, you want something to kind of break it down a little bit. And now after the onions have kind of cooked for about 1 minute, I'm going in with the garlic to infuse in that oil and give it a very garlic kind of taste, which pairs well with the cheese sauce. And as you can see, our onions have cooked. You don't really want to cook them until they're translucent because this dish you will bake in the oven. So after it has cooked for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to go in with our heavy whipping cream. So this will be the basis for our roux, our cheese sauce. And some people like to use flour. I don't really care for using flour. I like heavy whipping cream because it gives it a nice flavor without me having to cook down flour then add my milk and everything, and I can still get the same thickening effect with it. So we're going to take this, add it to the pot with the butter along with 1 can of evaporated milk, and we're going to let that cook down. Alright, make sure you mix that in very well and let it cook. And once it starts warming up and bubbling just a little bit, you're going to go in with your seasoning, and you can never have too much garlic. So of course I'm going in with my Badia garlic, my complete seasoning by Badia. As you can see, I love that brand. Their seasonings are very great. As always, season to flavor to preference. Smoked paprika. Now this brand by Badia, smoked paprika is very, very flavorful. I know some people say you can't taste it, but this one you will. It's very nice. And also some black pepper. And as you can see, I'm kind of holding it because the container is broken. And one time, almost the whole bottle fell in a pot of green beans that I was making. I was so disappointed because it was ruined. Okay, now my mixture with the heavy whipping cream has come to a boil. I'm going to reduce the heat and add half of that extra sharp cheddar and that pepper jack cheese that I shredded into the pot. And I'm going to go in with the bag cheese that I bought. So this is mild cheddar, and I'm adding a little less than half the bag of that. These are 2-pound bags. We're cooking a lot for my family, so making sure that I cook a lot. And I'm also going in with some mozzarella cheese, just to kind of give that very kind of gooey, stringy effect a little bit, and to add a little bit more flavor. So as that continues to warm, I'm just going in and making sure I'm whisking that in to incorporate that into the heavy whipping cream, that flavor. And you see now it has thickened up a lot, so you can see the string cheese pool. Alright, so for this dish we're using shredded hash browns, and these are frozen hash browns. I did not unthaw them before. I'm just adding them to my pan. So for the first layer, I'm going in with 1.5 bags of bag to my pan. Then after that, I'm going to go in with half of that cheese sauce mixture. Because this is such a large amount, I am doing it in layers and then mixing it, because if I were to add all of it at once, it would be too much to stir. So I'm going in with layers and then just combining this. Now we've already seasoned our roux, so there's no need to season at this point unless you want to, but my roux is very well seasoned, so I'm not adding any more seasoning. But I am going in with a little bit of broth. You can use vegetable broth if you like, but I'm using chicken broth, and this will just give me a little bit more of a looser texture and make sure that my potatoes cook through while in the oven. And that way the product at the end is not so thick. Now that I've mixed that in, I'm going in with another half bag and the last bag of my shredded hash browns. So in total, I had 3 bags of hash browns, and now I'm adding in the last bit of that cheese roux and some more broth, so that everything is mixed well and incorporated. So you see now it is looking lovely. So we're going to go ahead and cover that without adding any cheese on top. Cover with foil, and we're going to go ahead and bake this so that everything reaches temperature and our hash browns are cooked through and incorporated. This is a dish that my mom showed me how to make. If I'm not mistaken, it could be something that people usually eat for breakfast, but we eat it any time of day. I know most of the time it's not traditional Thanksgiving food, but it's something that I like to make. You guys, please excuse my stove. We were cooking and it needs to be clean, but while you're cooking, you're trying to wipe it down and it gets back dirty. So the first round, we're going to bake that for 40 minutes. Then uncover it, add our cheese, and bake for additional 35-40 minutes at 350 degrees. Now, if you're making a smaller pan of this, then you wouldn't need that long. I would say 25 minutes covered, then maybe 10 to 15 minutes uncovered with your cheese on top. So we just add additional cheese on top and let it bake a little bit longer, and it's looking delicious. It was so good, you guys, very tasty. All right, we're going in with another dish. Now, this one, you guys, is a traditional dish for Southerners in America. And these are called chitlins, if you're from the South. Or the proper name is chitterlings. But these are essentially the pig intestines. And you have to clean them before you cook them. Some people say, oh, I don't know how to clean them, but you will see when you look at them, you see the dirt on them. So you just take the membrane off and cook them. So after I cleaned them, I added them to my Instant Pot, put in a little bit of water, and put a whole onion in there. And we're going to let it cook on high for about 4 hours and some change to kind of go ahead and get the ball rolling with these. Now, this is a food that is the labor of love. So while that's cooking, we're moving on to the last dish that I will be preparing for Thanksgiving. Every year, I cook pecan pies. They're delicious. I love pecan pies. This is another food we only eat once a year, pretty much. So I'm going in with a recipe that I always use, and it is one from the company Casserole-Our. Now, this year I was getting tired, so I kind of messed up and I doubled the recipe when I should have kept it as is. So if you want to make this at home yourself, all you would need is 3 eggs. Whisk those 3 eggs together. Add 1 cup of light corn syrup or dark corn syrup if you prefer. Add 1 cup of sugar. Add 2 tablespoons of butter, and add your flavoring of choice, 1 tablespoon. And for this one, I always add in almond and vanilla flavor. So like I said, that's what I'm doing. Just mixing everything together. I'm going to whisk it together. Then after that, to your pie crust, if you're using deep dish pie crust, you add 1 cup of pecans, and then add in your mix. Or if you're doing like me and you're using regular pie crust, I don't like deep dish, you guys. Sorry, not sorry. Then you will go in with 1/2 cup of pecans per pie crust and some of your mixture and let it cook. But you see, I went wrong here and doubled the recipe. So I did 6 eggs, 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of corn syrup. And yeah, it did not come out right. That's what happened. But overall, I did let it cook a little bit more, and the recipe was fine. It was really good. So everyone still enjoyed the pies, but I know next year I will not double it like this because I see what happened. I am using Watkins flavor to flavor my pies. Like I said, I pour to taste. As you guys see, with seasonings and flavor, we pretty much measure with our ancestors, as they say. So whatever we think, that's what we measure with. So I'm going in with a little bit of almond and then adding some vanilla extracts to that. Now, if you don't have the Watkins flavor, I do like to use some McCormick flavoring, and it's very good. And also, if you have a hand whisk, use your hand whisk, your hand blender. Mine, for some reason, the thing where it was kind of rusted or something happened to it, so I wasn't able to use it. So I just brought out the stand mixer, which was good enough. So now I'm going in with 1/2 cup of pecan per pie crust, and you want to make sure your pie crust is not baked yet. You can bring this from the freezer and put it in the oven. These pie crusts will take so long to cook because the pecan pies take long to cook. So you're cooking your pecan pies for almost an hour to an hour and 70 minutes. So with that, you want to make sure that your pie crust is unbaked. So after we get all that mixture into the pies, we're going to go ahead and place them in the oven. And voila, we have pecan pies. Very nice, gooey texture on the inside, hard crust at the top, that caramelized pecan flavor. So delicious. That was our Thanksgiving, guys. I hope to see you guys again. Have a great day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to About the Abortees. Until next time, bye-bye. From the night job beats to the Ghana dance.